Hello, good evening, and welcome to Sleepy Archives. Tonight, you don't need to concentrate, you don't need to follow every word, and you don't need to stay awake. This is a place for listening softly and resting deeply. Before we begin our journey, take a slow breath in and gently let it go. Allow your shoulders to loosen, your jaw to soften, and your thoughts to slow down one by one. As your body becomes heavier, your mind can become lighter. The stories you'll hear tonight are not meant to test you, or teach you, or keep you alert. They are simply meant to exist quietly in the background, like distant footsteps or a calm river flowing through the dark. Tonight, we'll travel far into the past, to times when life moved slowly, when nights were darker, and when the world felt larger and quieter. If your thoughts drift, let them drift. If sleep comes, welcome it. And if you wake again later, the stories will still be here, moving gently forward without urgency. Let us begin very slowly. Long before history had a name, before years were counted, and before stories were written down, human life moved quietly across the land. Small groups of people followed familiar paths. They moved with the seasons, with the animals, and with the slow rhythm of the earth itself. There were no borders then, no cities, no fixed homes, only sky, land, and time. Eventually, these wandering groups began to notice something. Between two wide rivers, the Tigris and the Euphrates, the land behaved differently. After the rains, and after the rivers swelled, the soil left behind was dark, soft, and generous. Seeds placed there did not struggle. They grew, and when people returned months later, food was waiting. At first, this felt like a coincidence, but as seasons passed, the pattern repeated. The rivers flooded. The soil renewed itself. Plants returned. Slowly, very slowly, people began to trust the land. Trust changes behavior. Instead of moving on, they stayed longer. Instead of temporary shelters, they built sturdier ones. Mud was pressed into shape by hand. Reeds were tied together. Walls rose low and thick. These were not homes meant to last forever. They were homes meant to last long enough. And that was enough. Days in early Mesopotamia were unhurried. People woke with the light. They worked while the air was cool. And when the sun climbed high, they rested. Children learned by watching. Elders spoke softly. Knowledge passed slowly from one generation to the next. There was no rush. Life was measured by harvests, not hours. At night, darkness arrived completely. The land fell quiet. Firelight flickered gently against clay walls. Shadows moved slowly, never sharply. The sky above was wide and heavy with stars. People lay close to the ground, listening to insects, to distant water, to the breathing of those nearby. Sleep came easily. Over many generations, these quiet settlements grew. Paths between homes became familiar. Shared spaces formed naturally. Someone learned to shape better tools. Someone learned when floods would come. Someone learned how to store grain longer. No one announced progress. It simply happened, one small improvement at a time. This was not the birth of civilization as a dramatic event. It was a gentle settling, a decision repeated again and again to stay. And over time, staying changed everything. The land between the rivers would one day be called Mesopotamia. But to those who lived there, it was simply the place where life felt balanced, where water returned, where food grew, where nights were quiet. As villages grew, people began to notice patterns not only in the land, but in time. Floods arrived with regularity. Seasons followed order. And with order came a sense of calm predictability. The world felt understandable. And when the world feels understandable, the mind can rest. Imagine yourself there now, standing on cool earth at dusk. The air warm but gentle. The rivers nearby, moving slowly without urgency. You can hear soft voices fading as night approaches. You can smell earth and fire. There is nothing expected of you, only rest. And as sleep begins to settle, the first foundations of civilization rest quietly beneath the stars, waiting patiently for time to move forward. As the generations passed in the land between the rivers, the small villages that once stood alone began to feel connected. People no longer thought only of a single family or a single shelter. They began to think in terms of community. These early communities would one day be known as Sumer, but at the time, there was no name for what was happening. Life was simply becoming more organized, more familiar, more steady. The land continued to provide. Fields were planted in patterns. Irrigation channels guided water gently from the rivers, not forcing it, but guiding I. The Sumerians learned that working with nature was easier than trying to control it. This lesson shaped everything that followed. Their cities did not rise quickly. They spread outward, slowly, carefully. Homes were built close together. Narrow paths wound between them. Walls were thick, designed to keep heat out and cool air in. Inside these homes, life was quiet. Families shared meals. Tools were repaired. Stories were repeated, not because they were exciting, but because they were comforting. As cities grew, so did the need to remember things. Who owned which field? How much grain was stored? When the rivers usually flooded, memory alone was no longer enough. And so, without ceremony, writing was born. At first, it was not writing as we imagine it today. There were no long stories, no poetry, no dramatic words. Instead, there were marks. Simple shapes pressed into soft clay. A symbol for grain. A mark for livestock. A sign for time. These clay tablets were small, heavy in the hand, and practical. They were dried in the sun and stored carefully. In this quiet way, human memory became permanent. The people who made these marks were not artists. They were scribes. Their work required patience. Each mark was pressed slowly. Mistakes could not be erased. This encouraged care and calm. Scribes worked in quiet rooms. Light filtered in through small openings. The air was still. Even the act of writing was peaceful. At the heart of each Sumerian city stood a tall structure known as a ziggurat. It rose step by step toward the sky. Not sharply, not aggressively, but gradually. The ziggurat was not a place of noise. It was a place of order. People believed the gods preferred calm spaces, well-kept and respectful. And so the cities themselves were designed to reflect this belief. Daily life in Sumer followed steady rhythms. Morning brought work. Fields were tended. Canals were checked. Animals were fed. When the sun climbed high, people rested. Shade was valued. Stillness was respected. In the evening, the pace slowed again. Meals were simple. Conversations were soft. And as darkness arrived, the city grew quiet. At night, oil lamps glowed faintly in windows. Smoke drifted lazily upward. The streets emptied. People returned to their homes, laying down on woven mats, listening to the night. Crickets. Distant water. The world felt predictable. And predictability brings comfort. The Sumerians watched the sky carefully. They noticed patterns. Stars returned to familiar positions. The moon followed a cycle. They did not rush to explain these things. They observed and waited. Over time, this careful watching gave rise to early astronomy and the idea that the universe followed rules. This belief created calm. The world was not chaos. It had structure. Time itself became something to understand. Days were divided. Months were named. Not to control life, but to move alongside it. The Sumerians believed that balance was the highest achievement. Balance between work and rest. Between people and nature. Between the earth and the sky. And so, their civilization grew quietly. Not through conquest. Not through force. But through patience, routine, and cooperation. This was the foundation upon which much of the ancient world would later stand. Imagine walking through a Sumerian city at dusk, the heat of the day fading, the air cooling gently. You pass closed doorways, low walls, flickering lamps. Above you, the stars begin to appear. There is no urgency. Tomorrow will arrive on its own. And as you drift further into rest, know that in this ancient world, people slept much as you do now. Surrounded by familiarity, protected by routine, trusting that morning would return. When the sun slipped below the horizon in the ancient world, night arrived fully. There were no glowing windows stretching across the land, no distant hum of machines, no artificial light to soften the darkness. Darkness was complete and calm. As daylight faded, people finished their tasks without urgency. Tools were set aside. Fires were prepared carefully. The transition from day to night was gradual, natural, and expected. The sky changed slowly. Soft colors gave way to deeper blues, and then to black. One by one, the stars appeared. At first, only a few, then many, then more than could be counted. To ancient eyes, the sky felt alive. Not distant, but close. It stretched overhead like a great shelter, wide and protective. People often slept outdoors, on rooftops, or on open ground. Stone still held the warmth of the day. Cool air moved gently across skin. Lying down, the stars felt nearer than the horizon. There was no need to imagine constellations. Simply watching was enough. The stars did not rush. They moved slowly, almost imperceptibly. And because of this, they invited stillness. Breathing slowed naturally. Thoughts softened. The body followed the pace of the sky. Many ancient cultures believed the stars were storytellers. Not loud, not demanding, but patient. Stories written in light, repeating themselves night after night. These repeating patterns offered reassurance. What returned could be trusted. The moon played its own quiet role. It did not dominate the sky, but guided it. Its phases were watched carefully. A thin crescent, a bright fullness, a gentle fading. Each stage was accepted without resistance. Nothing stayed the same forever, and nothing needed to. Nighttime sounds were familiar. Insects sang softly. Wind brushed against grass and stone. Water moved steadily in the distance. There were no sudden noises, no interruptions, just layers of sound, stacked gently upon one another. These sounds did not demand attention. They simply existed. Sleep came easily in such conditions. Bodies were tired in a natural way. Work had followed daylight. Rest followed darkness. There was no reason to stay awake longer than necessary. No light to chase away sleep. Ancient people did not fear the dark. They respected it. Darkness was not emptiness. It was rest. It allowed the world to pause. And in that pause, the mind could let go. Even when people dreamed, their dreams were shaped by quiet days and darker nights. Dreams moved slowly, like drifting clouds. There was no urgency to interpret them. They were allowed to pass. Imagine yourself now, lying beneath that ancient sky. No roof above you. No walls around you. Only the steady earth beneath and the vast calm overhead. Your breath matches the slow movement of the stars. There is nothing to decide, nothing to solve, nothing to prepare for. Time feels different here. Minutes stretch gently. Moments blend together. The past, the present, and the future feel less separate. All that exists is rest. And as sleep deepens, the stars continue their quiet journey, unaware, unchanged, unconcerned. They will be there when morning comes, just as they always have been. Far to the west of Mesopotamia, another river flowed with quiet certainty, the Nile. Unlike many rivers, the Nile did not surprise those who lived beside it. It did not rush suddenly or change its course without warning. Year after year, it rose, and it fell with remarkable patience. To the people of ancient Egypt, this steady rhythm brought peace. They did not fear the river. They trusted it. When the Nile flooded, it did so gently. Water spread across the land, leaving behind dark, rich soil as it slowly receded. Fields renewed themselves without struggle. Seeds placed into the earth grew reliably. Because of this, Egyptian life felt predictable, and predictability creates calm. Villages stretched along the riverbanks. Homes were built from mud brick, cool to the touch, and thick enough to soften the heat of the sun. Inside these homes, life moved at an unhurried pace. Families rose early. Meals were simple. Work followed the light. There was no need to rush. The river would return when it always did. Farming followed ritual rather than urgency. Fields were prepared carefully. Canals were maintained patiently. Nothing was wasted. Everything had its place. This sense of order extended beyond daily life. It shaped how the Egyptians understood the world itself. To the ancient Egyptians, the universe was balanced. The sun rose each morning. The stars returned each night. The Nile flowed and returned. They believed that this balance was sacred, and so their lives were designed to preserve it. Despite what is often shown in stories, most Egyptians were not builders of pyramids, nor servants of kings. They were ordinary people: bakers, farmers, potters, scribes. Their days were filled with small, familiar tasks: grinding grain, carrying water, repairing tools. There was comfort in repetition. Even great monuments were not built in haste. Stone by stone, over many years, workers shaped structures meant to last beyond lifetimes. There was no race against time. Time itself felt abundant. Religion in ancient Egypt was woven quietly into daily life. Gods were not distant. They were present in the sun, the river, and the land. Prayers were soft. Rituals were steady. Nothing needed to be shouted. The Egyptian view of death was not filled with fear. Death was seen as a continuation, not an ending. Life moved from one state to another, like day becoming night. Sleep was understood as a gentle rehearsal for eternity. Each night, when the body rested, the soul traveled quietly, and each morning it returned. Because of this belief, rest was respected. Evenings were calm. As the sun lowered, work slowed. Families gathered. Food was shared. Voices softened. The day was allowed to end naturally. When night arrived along the Nile, the world grew still. Water reflected moonlight gently. Palm trees swayed softly in the breeze. The sky opened wide. People slept close to the river, trusting its presence, listening to its steady movement. There was comfort in knowing that the same sound had lulled generations before. Scribes recorded events carefully, but they did not hurry. Writing was an act of patience. Papyrus sheets were prepared slowly. Ink was mixed deliberately. Words were chosen with care. Even history itself moved calmly in Egypt. Imagine yourself drifting along the Nile at dusk. The sun fading into gold. The water smooth beneath you. Reeds whisper as you pass. Birds settle for the night. There is nowhere to go. No destination to reach. The river carries you gently. As darkness deepens, lamps glow faintly along the shore. Homes grow quiet. Sleep arrives without effort. The land rests, the water flows, and time feels endless. And as you drift further into sleep, remember that for thousands of years, people found comfort in this same rhythm. A rhythm of return. A rhythm of rest. A rhythm that continues even now. When night arrived in the ancient world, it arrived quietly, almost respectfully. There was no single way that darkness fell, yet everywhere it brought a similar stillness. Across distant lands and cultures, people responded to night in much the same way. They slowed. In the great cities of ancient China, the evening air cooled gently after long days. Lanterns were lit one by one, not brightly, but softly. Scholars rolled their scrolls closed. Brushes were washed carefully. Inkstones were set aside. Learning paused for the night, not because knowledge was finished, but because rest was respected. Homes were arranged inward. Courtyards gathered moonlight. Walls softened sound. Families spoke in low voices. The day was allowed to fade naturally. Further west, in the Indus Valley, cities were built with remarkable care. Streets were orderly. Homes were balanced. At night, the heat left the stones slowly. People slept in cool spaces, windows open, air moving freely. The sounds of night were gentle. Water flowing through channels. Footsteps fading. Wind passing through narrow streets. There was no rush to sleep, and no resistance to it either. Sleep came when it was ready. In the lands of ancient Greece, evenings brought conversation and reflection. As darkness settled, people spoke of ideas quietly. Not to argue, but to explore. The sky above was clear and open. Stars reflected in calm seas. Eventually, voices grew softer. Thoughts slowed, and rest arrived. In ancient Rome, despite the scale of the empire, night brought calm. Baths closed. Markets emptied. Streets quieted. Oil lamps marked doorways, small islands of light in wide darkness. Even soldiers rested. Routine did not disappear at night. It transformed. Across the Americas, early civilizations listened closely to nature. Night was filled with sound, but not noise. Insects sang steadily. Leaves whispered. Water moved unseen but constant. People understood these sounds. They did not interrupt sleep. They invited it. In every place, night was not treated as an enemy. It was welcomed. It signaled a time to stop striving, to stop building, to stop deciding. Darkness gave permission to rest. People prepared for sleep carefully. Mats were laid out. Fires were reduced to embers. Tools were placed where they could be found in the morning. Nothing was left unresolved. The day was complete. Dreams were not feared. They were seen as visitors, arriving softly, leaving quietly. No urgency was attached to them. They belonged to the night. Imagine drifting across these ancient worlds, moving from land to land without effort. A quiet street here, a moonlit river there. Different cultures, same stillness. The earth itself seemed to sleep. Mountains rested. Forests grew silent. Only the stars remained awake, keeping gentle watch. As you listen now, you are connected to this long tradition of rest. Across thousands of years, people have laid down at night with the same need you feel now. To stop, to soften, to sleep. And so, the night continues peacefully without demand. When people speak of empires, they often imagine sudden power, loud victories, and fast change. But in truth, most empires moved slowly. They grew the way trees grow, tight ring by ring, over long stretches of time. Empires did not begin with crowns or armies. They began with routine, paths that became roads, agreements that became laws, habits that became tradition. Each small step felt ordinary. Taken together, they shaped history. Consider the Roman world. Before it ruled vast territories, it was a collection of villages. People shared water sources. They marked boundaries carefully. Disputes were settled not with noise, but with process. Order mattered. Roman roads were built slowly, stone by stone, aligned carefully. They were not rushed. They were meant to last. And because of this, they became symbols of stability. A road promised connection. A road promised return. Cities grew around these roads. Markets opened at predictable hours. Baths followed regular schedules. Public spaces were designed for balance. Even in large crowds, there was structure. Noise faded when night arrived. Despite its size, the Roman Empire valued routine above all else. Soldiers trained the same way each day. Clerks recorded details carefully. Systems mattered more than individuals. This created a sense of calm predictability. At night, Roman cities rested. Shops closed. Streets emptied. Oil lamps glowed faintly. Footsteps echoed softly. The world felt smaller again. Beyond Rome, other empires followed similar patterns. In ancient Persia, roads connected distant lands. Messengers moved steadily, never rushing, never delayed. Time was respected. In ancient China, dynasties rose and fell over centuries. Change happened gradually. Traditions carried forward. Night always arrived the same way, regardless of who ruled. Empires lasted not because of constant action, but because of long periods of stability. Most days were not remarkable, and that was their strength. People living within empires did not experience history as grand events. They experienced it as routine. Waking, working, resting, eating meals at familiar times, watching children grow, sleeping under the same stars. Even during times of expansion, life remained ordinary for most. Farmers still tended fields. Artisans still shaped tools. Night still brought rest. Imagine walking through an imperial city after sunset. The heat of the day has faded. Stone walls hold the cool. Distant voices soften. You feel grounded, protected by familiarity. There is comfort in knowing what tomorrow will look like. Empires understood this. They relied on it. And as time passed, even the greatest empires slowed. Borders shifted gently. Power moved quietly. Nothing rushed. Empires did not disappear overnight. They softened. They changed shape. They rested. As you drift further into sleep, let the idea of time stretch. Centuries passing like breaths. Rise and fall without urgency. History does not hurry. And neither do you. Not every civilization ended in noise. Not every city felt a fire, or invasion, or sudden collapse. Many simply faded. Their stories did not end with a final moment. They softened and slowly disappeared into time. Civilizations often changed without anyone noticing. A river shifted its course. Rain fell differently. Trade routes moved elsewhere. People adjusted. At first, they stayed close. Then they traveled farther. Eventually, they moved on. The Indus Valley civilization was once filled with carefully planned cities. Streets were straight. Homes were balanced. Water flowed through channels with quiet efficiency. Then slowly, the rivers changed. Floods came differently. The land responded. People adapted until adaptation became movement. and the cities were left to rest. In the deserts of the American Southwest, the ancestral Puebloans built homes into stone. Cliff dwellings sheltered families for generations. They listened closely to the land. When rainfall changed, they noticed. When crops struggled, they adjusted. Eventually, they chose to leave. Not in panic, but in patience. In jungles, in plains, and along coastlines, other civilizations followed similar paths. They did not fall. They transitioned. Buildings stood quietly after people left. Walls weathered. Stone remained. Plants grew where streets once were. Nature did not erase these places. It embraced them. Over time, names were forgotten. Languages stopped being spoken. Stories grew quieter. But the land remembered. It always does. There is something peaceful about these quiet endings. No urgency. No final conflict. Just change. Imagine walking through one of these forgotten cities. The air is still. Stone is warm from the sun. Grass moves gently through cracks. There are no voices, but there is presence. A sense of having been lived in. You feel no sadness, only calm. The understanding that nothing needs to last forever. History often celebrates beginnings, but endings, especially gentle ones, deserve quiet respect. Civilizations sleep now, not destroyed, but resting. Covered by time, protected by silence. As you rest, you share something with them. The act of letting go, of allowing movement without resistance, of trusting change. And just as these places were never truly lost, neither are you. You are exactly where you need to be, at rest. There is a quiet comfort in forgetting. Not the forgetting that comes from loss, but the forgetting that comes from rest. The kind that softens the edges of thought and allows the mind to loosen its grip. Forgotten civilizations no longer struggle. They do not defend borders, or maintain roads, or record time. They rest, covered gently by earth, by wind, by rain. Nothing demands their attention anymore. This is not erasure. It is release, a return to stillness. When history lets go of a place, it does so slowly. Names fade first, then stories, then details. What remains is essence, presence without pressure. The same is true for the mind. As night deepens, thoughts begin to drift. Details blur. Concerns lose their sharpness. Nothing needs to be solved now. Ancient people understood this instinctively. They did not carry the weight of the day into the night. They trusted sleep to reset the world. And often they did. Imagine laying down heavy thoughts the way travelers lay down bags at the end of a journey. There is no need to pick them up again tonight. They will still be there tomorrow, if they matter at all. The past does not ask to be remembered every moment. It is content to exist quietly. The future does not demand planning right now. It can wait. Forgetting in this moment is not failure. It is care. Care for the mind. Care for the body. Care for rest. Your breathing has likely slowed. Your body feels heavier. This is not something you need to manage. It is happening naturally. As awareness softens, names and places from earlier stories may fade. That is perfect. They have done their work. Just as ancient cities were slowly reclaimed by silence, your thoughts can now be reclaimed by calm. No resistance. No effort. Sleep does not arrive suddenly. It settles, like dust after movement. like water after waves. And in this settling, there is peace. A peace that does not need explanation. Let go without intention. Rest without direction. Forget without concern. Everything that moves eventually becomes still. Not abruptly, not forcefully, but naturally. The long journey through time, through empires and cities, through memory and forgetting now slows. There is nowhere left to go. Nothing left to explain. History does not end. It simply rests. And tonight, you rest with it. Imagine the world growing quieter, not all at once, but layer by layer. Distant sounds fade first, then closer ones, until only calm remains. The stars remain unchanging, patient. They have watched countless nights like this one. They know how to wait. Your body no longer needs direction. Breathing continues on its own. Thoughts pass without meaning. Awareness drifts like a slow tide. The stories you've heard tonight do not need to be remembered. They were not meant to stay. They were meant to guide you here, to this moment, to this stillness. Imagine laying down not just the day, but the sense of time itself. Minutes lose shape. Hours dissolve. There is only rest. Civilizations once lay beneath the same sky and slept. They trusted the night. They allowed darkness to do its work. And morning always came without effort. There is nothing to prepare for, nothing to anticipate, nothing to hold. If sleep has already arrived, this story fades gently away. If it has not, it will. So, naturally, stillness is not empty. It is full of quiet life. The kind that restores, kind that lasts. And so, the journey ends. Not with an ending, but with rest.